This is a story about middle school and my friend Elise Hogg. Middle school is a hard time for me to think about. I try to block it out. If you look for pictures, they will all be deleted off the internet. Ha 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 ha. The first time I met Elise was in the fall play. I was doing Robin Hood, and I was so excited to audition as a 7th grader. My middle school was 7th and 8th grade. She was in 8th grade. She was quiet, really, really beautiful, and I noticed her immediately, but she didn't really speak much. She was in the cast, but she didn't have a big part. I was cast in a lead. No big deal. I was Friar Tuck. I got to wear a big pillow underneath my cloak and pretend to be a big, fat, jolly man. It was awesome. Me and Elise were friends, but we were just in the same friends group. Her best friend was this girl, Rebecca, who was a little bit louder, and I was just in 7th grade and eager to be friends with any upperclassman. It wasn't until the 8th grade dance, I guess, I went by myself. I was really excited. I wore my favorite pants, which unfortunately had a hole in the back that I stitched. My mom had taught me how to sew with a sewing needle, so I mended them. And while I was dancing, really, really excited, I caught Elise's eyes, and she introduced me to her friends. And lo and behold, her friends were the really cute skateboarder boys I had looked at all throughout lunch, thought about often, really blushed. None of them noticed me. I used to have poorly cut hair. My mom took me to Supercuts. I think I asked for like a Rachel Lee Cook bob. She just went like this. It was awful. I had braces, just had glasses. Not very cute, not as cute as I am now. Thank you very much. So I'm back at the 8th grade dancing. Elise says, "Come over, meet my friends." I said, "Oh my God, it's Jeff Lehman." His hair was in his face. He was a skateboarder. I was really excited. I'm dancing with her and her friends. Nirvana's Smells Like Teen Spirit comes on. I'm so excited. I sing all the words. I don't know any of the words because my family is Chinese and they didn't listen to music growing up. But I'm really excited and I'm dancing and I'm having such a great time. And I'm really hoping I look cute for Jeff Lehman, who was my ideal crush in the kind of way that a 7th grade girl looks at an 8th grade boy who has no interest in her at all. And suddenly, he's looking at me, but he's laughing at me. And I realize that my poorly mended pants has split and my hot pink Hanes underwear my mom bought me is completely exposed. And I'm mortified. I run to the bathroom, and Elise follows me, and she comforts me in the stall and gives me her jacket, and I wrap it around my waist, and we become friends. The next time I meet her is at the base movie theater. I lived next to a military base, and the movie theater had $5 movies, very cheap candy at the general store next to it. You would go get cheap candy at the general store, walk to the movies, and watch a 8-month-old movie in the movie theater and be able to laugh and scream at the screen as obnoxiously as your 14-year-old self wants to. It was fun, and she was the nicest person I'd ever met, and so, so kind, had the wisest words to say about everything, but she didn't really have to say much. She was magnetic and kind, sweet, and so, so beautiful in a quiet way. The story is about middle school and how awkward it was and how uncomfortable it was and how a little 7th grade girl got to make friends with a bunch of 8th graders and hang out with them after school at the base movie theater. But it's also about my friend Elise Hogg and the night I got a phone call from my friend Heather, who told me Elise died. And that was the first time I'd ever lost anybody. I mean, I lost my grandparents, but I never really knew them, and they didn't speak English, so it wasn't really personable. But this was somebody I knew, that I spent time with. And when I got that phone call, after I had just finished a 4-hour phone call with my friend Heather, and I got that phone call, and it sounded like she was laughing. Sometimes when people are crying so hysterically, they sound like they're laughing, but she wasn't laughing. She was crying hysterically, and she said, Heather died, or not Heather, Elise. Elise died. And I said, what? And apparently, one day when she was walking across the street to go to that movie theater that we always saw movies at, somebody ran a red light, and they hit her. And that's all to say that after that incident in my life, and I realized that life is so precious, it made me realize something that could maybe be a little far out, but sometimes I think that our purpose in this world is to fix all the issues we have inside of us, to figure out all of our shit, if you will, that everybody has things they need to figure out in order to be the best possible person that they can be. I think that Elise had figured it out by then. Maybe she wasn't born with it, or maybe she was, but she had figured out how to be the best person she could be for her friends and her family, and I knew that. And she was done with her time on Earth, you know? I think when you are done figuring out all the complex issues you might have inside as a person, it's time for you to leave. And that's a scary thing for some people, but we all have a last day here. And some days are sooner than others. Thank you.